Hello YouTube, today we're talking about the Blades, a little overview of the history. This topic was requested by the YouTube users Kane Marcus and American Pride under the last video, and actually when I saw the request I was like, hey, I should do that. But before we begin, some of the music in this video is actually for the first time ever not just ripped from the Elder Scrolls. They are part of a small album, Imperial Knowledge Original Soundtrack. It was composed by the YouTube channel Music for Meditation, who I will link below. They make amazing relaxing pieces with ambient music. For each one of their videos they just take you to a location and make a track that has you completely immersing yourself in that location. I often use their music to help myself with making scripts, as it works really relaxing, and certainly when I'm making a script about, for example, Cyrodiil, I can just put on their music outskirts of Cyrodiil, and I don't know, it's awesome. And I definitely think that you should give them a watch. Or at least a listen. And the fact that they just do those locations of Tamriel as well, including locations from Earth, sometimes from the Star Wars universe and other universes, is just amazing. So check out their channel and just quickly kick off. So in this video I'm going to give a summarized history of the Blades. And for that we have to begin in the First Era, even before the First Era to the continent of Akavir. In Akavir there was the ancient order of the Dragonguard. This order hunted dragons in their homeland of Akavir, which was the original homeland of the dragons as well. If you wish to know a bit more about this period, I did a video about the dragon origins way back in the year 1 of Imperial Knowledge. Anyway, during the Akaviri invasion of Tamriel in the First Era, the Dragonguard were a big part of that invasion. As the Akaviri invaded a lot of northern Tamriel, they were finally held by the armies of Emperor Riemann Cyrodiil, the first Emperor, on which I also did a video. As soon as they heard the voice of Riemann Cyrodiil, the Dragonborn, the Dragonguard kneeled before him and recognized him as Dragonborn, claiming that he was who they have been looking for all this time, the ultimate dragon hunter. The Akaviri armies then became loyal to Riemann and helped him conquer large parts of Tamriel. The Dragonguard at that time also hunted down the remaining dragons of the north, resulting in many dragons being buried in the burial sites we see today. During this time they also constructed Skyhaven Temple and Alduin's Wall within, with the permission of Riemann Cyrodiil. This wall was a sort of summary of all the accumulated dragon lore they had. It took years to construct, but when it was finally finished, Riemann Cyrodiil II actually visited Skyhaven Temple to see this amazing feat of Akavir stonework that protected the knowledge against the forgetfulness of ages. When Riemann III was assassinated and the Riemann dynasty ended, the Dragonguard was largely disbanded, as they were no longer serving the Dragonborn. They also became largely mercenaries, eventually resulting in the founding of the Fighters Guild, on which I also did a video. Man, this starts to feel like a comprehensive advertisement. It was during this time, however, that the few remaining Dragonguard evolved into the spies and covert force that we see in Oblivion. The last remaining members that were still retained by the Akaviri potentates of the Second Era as a sort of secret service they could trust. These were the core of the Dragonguards that would eventually become the Blades. When the Second Empire finally fell and the interregnum began, the Dragonguard went into a sort of exile, the few remaining members. They waited for the new Dragonborn, standing prepared in the case one of them shows up. The petty emperors of this time, like the Longhouse Emperors and Velen Aquilarius and Clivia Tharn, who I also mentioned in the Riemann Dynasty video, actually made their own little Dragonguard, which were imitations of the actual Dragonguard. Not the skilled Akaviri, but just regular bodyguards in their armor and with the name Dragonguard. The late Second Era saw the rise of a man named Tiber Septim, who sought to unite Tamriel once and for all. And he was Dragonborn. When the Dragonguard discovered this, they returned from their slumber and supported the new Dragonborn leader. In this new empire of Tiber Septim and all the heirs that followed, they became known as the Blades. They became a more important organization than the Dragonguard had ever been, growing exponentially in size and spreading all over Tamriel to become the Emperor's eyes and ears. They were his personal servants, loyal to Oblivion itself, as we see in the game Oblivion. During this time they started to be known as more of an order of Talos or Tiber Septim rather than the Dragonguard, since the dragons were long but extinct. This also led them to having the name the Blades. They fulfilled great tasks for the Empire, like recovering parts of the Numidium, which made the conquest of the Somerset Isles possible, and guiding the Nerevarine in Morrowind, having him as one of their members. They also played a vital role in the end of the Septim Empire, as they attempted to return the last heir of Uriel Septim to the throne, after his father and his brothers were assassinated by the Mythic Dawn, and, well, the Blades couldn't stop them. Martin, the last heir, they guided him and protected him until he could put an end to the Oblivion Crisis. After Martin's death and the end of the crisis, they once again went into a state of exile. With their vast network still in place, they became more of a private spy organization, only working for themselves, waiting for the Dragonborn to return and helping to safeguard Tamriel. When in the Stormcrown Interregnum, there were, well, some petty emperors, under which Tools the Gibbering and some others, and of course the new dynasty founder Titus Mede. When they were placed on the throne, well, the Blades did not support them, as they were not Dragonborn, but the Empire and the Blades lived in mutual coexistence. However, within the Somerset Isles, a new threat to the Empire has been born, the Thalmor. The Blades, like the Emperor, foresaw this threat, and from that moment on they decided to work with, and even at some point work for, the Empire again, in an attempt to thwart the efforts of the Thalmor, and they actually combated the Thalmor for years very effectively. However, during the following years they started to lose this conflict, until all the spies in the Somersets and Valenwood had been killed, and their heads were sent to the Emperor together with the ultimatum that sparked the Great War, on which I also did a video, even a remake video that's really great, if I can say so myself. After the Great War, the Blades were hunted down by the Thalmor and after officially being dismissed by the Emperor. This was the result of the White Gold Concordat and its terms. Their spy role was now fully taken over by the Penitus Oculatus, the new personal security detail of the Emperor. The last remaining members went into hiding, waiting for the return of the Dragonborn. There are 3 former members that we can find in Skyrim in hiding, of which 2 of them, Delphine and Esbern, are still loyal to the Blades, and will attempt to restore the Blades after the Dragonborn returns. The 3rd member we can find is Fultheim. We can find him in the Nightgate Inn as a drunkard. According to the innkeeper, he's just drinking away a lifetime of bad memories, and he carries an akaviri blade sword with him. And he even will attack the Dragonborn if he is approached in Thalmor robes, as he will think that you're an assassin by the Thalmor sent to kill him. It's not clear if he was a Blades member or not, but I am personally 100% convinced by the evidence that is presented. I mean, it's pretty obvious. After the main quest of Skyrim, the Blades will actually attempt to rebuild, if you killed Parthenax, and well, I actually cover Parthenax and the Greybeards in the video from 2 days ago, so give that a watch if you want. Man, this is really one big advertisement. No. I personally must say that I dislike the Blades that we see in Skyrim. I don't know, they just don't have the cool feeling that we have in Oblivion. It could just be me, of course, but I mean, they just seem lame. I mean, Delphine is not a good leader at all, and she doesn't even listen to her Dragonborn, which is apparently the leader, supposed to be the leader of the Dragonguard, or the Blades. And, well, I just don't like them. It's just a matter of opinion, I suppose. But tell me, what do you think of the Blades we see in Skyrim? Do you think that they are truly the Blades, or do you think that they are just 2, well, stupid old Blade members and they have no right to continue the Blades? I think they do have a right to continue the Blades, as well they have the Dragonborn as their leader, but I just don't like them personally. That's a possibility in this life, you know, that you don't like them. Tell me what you think. And well, that's about it. That's actually a short and comprehensive history of the Blades. I really hope you like it, and I also hope that you like the new soundtrack. I worked 2 of the themes from the soundtrack into this video. So if you liked it, like, subscribe, do those things. For personal contact with me, there's my Instagram and Discord, that's in the description, as always. And if you want to support me in a more personal way, there's of course my Patreon. With that said, let's go to the advertisements. Oh hey there, it's me, Zork. You know, the guy you just watched a video from. I have my own soundtrack now. You can hear it in videos sometimes. If you want a high quality download of this soundtrack, you can support me on Patreon, and you get the soundtrack for free with that. For only $1 donation you get the main theme, and for $2 donations and up you get the entire album. That's pretty cheap, right? Plus, with $1 or $2 to Patreon, you also get instant access to all my small vlogs, other Patreon content, and your name at the end of every video. It's a pretty good deal, I've heard. If you want to support the channel, of course. So check out my Patreon for more details, it's in the description.